Today, we're going to break down what happens in those critical hours in days right after a collision with a commercial truck. And this isn't just about the law, it's really about a race against time that starts the very second a crash occurs.
So let's start with the single most important thing you need to get from the very beginning. A crash involving a passenger car and a huge commercial truck, well, it's just not in the same universe as a typical car accident.
I mean, the physics alone tell the whole story. A fully loaded semi-truck can weigh up to 80,000 pounds. Now, at highway speed, that isn't just weight. It is a catastrophic force. It changes lives, instantly and forever. And this right here really highlights the critical difference. In a car accident, local police handle it. But when a commercial truck is involved, that triggers an immediate corporate response. And while police preserve evidence at a car crash, in a trucking collision, crucial evidence can and often does start to disappear, and fast. And that brings us to the real heart of this explainer. See, the clock doesn't start ticking when you decide to call a lawyer. No, it starts the second that crash is reported. And this is the piece of the puzzle that puts an injured person at a huge disadvantage before they've even made it to the hospital. The moment a serious crash is reported, these companies mobilize their own teams. We're talking about investigators, lawyers, and insurance adjusters who are activated and on the move, a lot of times before the wreckage has even been cleared off the road.
So just look at these two timelines that start at the exact same moment. As the victim is being rushed to get emergency medical care, the company's investigators are already heading to the scene. By the very next day, while the victim is focused on just trying to recover, the company is already building its case and locking down the evidence that helps them.
So the crucial point is this. They are not waiting. From the truck's black box, which, records everything from speed to braking to driver logs and maintenance records, all that evidence is being controlled and analyzed to build their defense, while you're just starting to deal with a medical crisis.
So what does all this head start look like in practice? Let's pull back the curtain on what their defense playbook actually looks like. It's really a three-part strategy, and it's all about deflecting responsibility. First, they'll blame their own driver, framing it as a one-time mistake, not a failure of a company that might have been pushing him too hard. Then, they'll blame the road conditions. And, most aggressively, they will try to blame you. And at the same time, their insurers are experts at making these really fast settlement offers. And these offers can sound like a lot of money, especially when you've got medical bills piling up. But what they're counting on is you not knowing the true cost of a lifetime of care. And that's the real question, isn't it? That first offer almost never even comes close to accounting for the full picture. Future surgeries, lost income for the rest of your life, chronic pain, and just the permanent changes to your quality of life. Because the impact, it goes so far beyond the person who was in the car. The financial pressure, sure, that's immediate. But the emotional weight, the trauma, the strain it puts on a family, that can last for generations. I mean, we are talking about life-altering outcomes here. Spinal cord injuries, traumatic brain injuries, amputations, and in the most tragic cases, wrongful death. Getting justice isn't just about paying today's bills. It's about providing for a family's future for the rest of their lives. So, given this incredibly complex reality, what does it actually take to level that playing field, to hold these massive companies accountable? Well, leveling that playing field requires a highly specialized team. You need accident reconstruction experts to figure out the physics of the crash. You have to have deep knowledge of all the federal trucking regulations. But the real game changer? That's an attorney who understands how the industry works from the inside out. This kind of expertise isn't something you learn from a book. It comes from decades of facing these companies in court. Attorneys who live and breathe this stuff, like Yonke, they develop a true insider's understanding of every tactic. That level of experience means he knows their playbook by heart. He knows exactly how their rapid response teams work and what they're looking for when they hit the scene. He knows where to find the evidence they don't want anyone to see, the doctored driver logs, the skipped maintenance, the constant pressure put on drivers to just keep going. And most importantly, he knows how to build a case that forces them to take responsibility, not just for a crash, but for the full, devastating impact it has on a person and their family. Which brings us to our final and maybe most critical point. The trucking company, their investigators, their entire legal machine, they were ready. The second this happened to you, they were already prepared.
Now it's time for you to be ready too. The only question is, who are you going to have on your side to make sure that you are?